Hello YouTubers. Not much time has passed since the last episode and I haven't actually done anything. It's basically been just the time to save out, change the directory to perhaps a saving to, and go take a break and then come back and start this back up. So 15 minutes for me or so. I have 9 more. Nine more of these. Should I make my hovel bigger? I think one more bigger. Actually, not on that side though. Well, yeah, that side. Okay. I made my tool heads, but I didn't make the tools, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm definitely going to use up the knives. That pit kiln is still running. It takes something like 8 game hours or so, and I started it just before dawn, so it'll be a little while. I do want to check these cows, what their gender is. That's a male. You can see the longer curved horns on it, and if you get a glimpse of the backside, you can see it doesn't have any udders. One has worked its way up here. If out of these 4 there's a male and a female that are visible, I won't be too concerned about invisible ones, like that one there. Right there. If we can right click him, female. I have not yet seen an invisible male. But if these other 2 are good, oh, one of them's not. Female. Get out of my way. Really? Oh man, we got 1 visible and 3 invisible. Alright, I'm not going to kill them today, but they don't produce any meat, so as I said at the beginning of episode 1, how come oh, I'm right clicking, that's why okay. Like I said at the beginning, if I have to do that, I will kill them, dispose of what I get from them, and spawn in the same number using creative mode. And I may have to spawn in more because there may be more invisibles that spawn. The spawner eggs bring in invisibles as well. But since the world loaded with 4 cows, I expect to have 4 cows and 4 cows worth of meat. I'm not even sure if you can breed those. More copper. I think I did a pretty industrious job that first day. Got into my shelter hole a little later than I had hoped. Tetrahedrite. More tetrahedrite. If we can collect enough ore to do 3 ingots, that would be absolutely awesome. For the day. But the day's going to get away on us really quick. I spent some of it looking at the cows. We're close to having enough for 2 because we can mix and match this native copper with the tetrahedrite hydrite. They both produce liquid copper, so it don't really matter. And dang it, it's getting dark already. How many do I got? 26. I hope that skeleton doesn't come over here to bother me. How much was that? I'd like to have one more full stack, because I intend to fire that clay pit a few more times. Good. I should. These don't sprout automatic or immediately. Zombie coming. Swap these guys out. Alright, so you can see that this pit kiln stopped. I got a water situation coming up here. I did place roofing on one more section. I don't need the space yet, but this is, while it's a temporary home, it's got to last a little while. I'll probably go one more that way as well, or more than that, because I got 3 blocks of clay. Well, not the whole way. This whole wall is clay, but the next one might be a little reduced. I'm gonna temporarily fix my water issue. There's clay above it. And there's clay above that. All right. Now, you can sort of deal with your thirst issue by standing in water, but it's really slow. The better way is we got to clear space to grab these. The better way is to shift right click on the stuff we fired, and you'll see that there's 2 jugs. But you need to fill them with standing water, not running water. This is flowing water. So I can't fill them in here. But these jugs, these vessels, the one that's on this one and this one, are a portable storage. They'll hold 4 stacks, full stacks, of anything small, very small, or tiny. I find it, in a pinch, it can be useful to throw small stuff in there to just clear up inventory a bit, but unless I get to a crunch where I really need the space, I'm not going to mess with that yet. I'd rather use those for storing full stacks of things. So if I was to collect well, like these are tiny. If I was to collect 4 stacks of that, or 2 stacks of that and 2 stacks of clay, I could clear up some inventory moving that off. Alright, so we need to do some more clay things. First things first, we're going to make some ingot molds. And then we'll make a saw mold. The saw is the first important tool. It used to be in earlier versions of TerraFirmaCraft that you really wanted to get a pick and a prospector's pick, a pickaxe and a prospector's pick first. But that was when you could make planks from logs with an axe. You only got 3 planks instead of the 8 that you get from the saw. But one more pro pick here. But not having the ability, or not being able to make planks, is very debilitating. Huh? I couldn't shift click that out. So, for example, to sink a mine shaft down, you either have the ability to make ladders, or you have to stair step. And dirt in TerraFirmaCraft doesn't act like dirt in vanilla. It acts more like sand or gravel in vanilla. And actually, it's a little bit different than that even, because it will, while it will fall because of gravity, it also doesn't stand in a pillar on its own. It will tumble out into a pile. So making stair steps down through 10-ish layers of dirt is difficult. Sorry, I've been it doesn't feel like I got a full-blown cold, but for about a week and a half I've been stuffy-headed and then getting post-nasal drip, and then that itches and tickles my throat and then causes me to cough. Alright, so we do have a full stack. We do have lumber. We got more than 30 loose straw. We got a loose stack, or a whole stack of lumber there, so we could fire 2 pits. I don't want to fire them here though, because I've expanded my space. We'll do one on either side of this. Alright. We have 12 copper and 8 tetrahedrite. That's enough for 2 ingots. So we will load a vessel with that. And actually I'm going to grab 5 more clay to make a few more ingot molds. I won't need them just yet, but I'll have the kiln space. So that's 4, that's 3, and then this will be the 4th. Alright, so with the vessel selected, you right click and you get the vessel's inventory, and you can load ore in there. Now the small surface ores, each one is worth 10 units. It takes 100 units to make an ingot. The ore that you dig out underground, each one is worth 25 units. So it only takes 4 of them to make an ingot, whereas here it takes 10. But again, these both make copper, and so that'll end up making a total of 20 nuggets, making two ingots. Alright. This is an indoor day because of the rain. So place that. Get the dirt out of the way. Stock up these things. Actually, I could throw this one down here too, since they stack. Alright. And again, it's just shift right click into the four corners, or four corner quadrants of that space. Get our straw down here. Get our lumber down here. Pull that open. I have a slowness effect on me because of thirst. Enough to make that go away for now, and then I'll stand in water for a while. Not shift right click, just right click, hold it down, let it fill up. Boom. If you do it with a shift click, you have a chance of knocking one of those things loose down there. Alright. Without log selected, right click, and we can do that. Right click, and we can do that and that. And they're both full. And we need a fire starter handy. Yeah, first click on that one, not on that one. Second click, that's not too bad. Fire starter can get out of the way. Actually, maybe I will put a few things in here. Let's do the seeds. We'll plant that. And the clay. And the dirt. This I'm going to put up here with a knife. Get some rye grain. That'll come in handy for breeding animals. And it will also lead them, I don't know if it'll lead them very far. According to the Terra Firma wiki, wheat grain is supposed to be the only thing that leads animals. But I've noticed reaction. They come when you got the rye grain out in your hand. And maybe they only come a short range. Maybe they won't follow you for long. Maybe that's designed to just make it easier to get a male and female closer together, so that you can get them busy with each other. I dislike the rain, but the radar is clear. I am going to go fill a bucket at least. I mean, not a bucket, a jug. Both jugs, actually. Because I need it. Now these jugs, I was just about to say it, I jinxed it. They have a chance to break every time you use them. And one just broke. So I'm down to one. I like to carry two so that I have a backup just for that reason. And also, I'll carry the second one full just so that if I'm away somewhere where there's not water nearby, I've got another source of water. Alright, those are going to fire for a while. I hate the rain. Nothing for it though. Man, these cows are moving around quite a bit. Alright, gonna do this a little more leisurely instead of dashing around quite so fast. I think breeding chickens is broken still in TerraFirmaCraft, even in this build. Thought I saw a rock. Not just rain bouncing or something. That knife didn't last long. Getting more seeds. Got a creeper in the distance. One thing with this map is that some things show up on the radar, but sometimes they're underground. Well, I should say, even underground stuff shows up on the radar when you're not underground, which that might be configurable. I don't know. There's more clay here. Those goldenrod flowers indicate the presence of clay. Some jack-o'-lanterns, well, pumpkins to make jack-o'-lanterns. Have we picked up any more ore? Nope. Spoke pretty soon there. Alright. Ideally, and it's hard to do that in the first couple days, but ideally, when you find an ore, you want to mark this spot. I'm not worried about marking the spot of spawn, because I know practically right under the spawn point is a very large, very large deposit of native copper, a vein of native copper. So I'm not at all worried about copper, and tetrahedrite and copper are what I'm finding around here. I'm gonna dig up a little more sand. The whole bottom of this seems to be sand, 2 layers deep. But it's hard and time consuming to dig underwater. The dig process goes slower, and you have to come up for air so frequently. I try not to hit these rocks with tools. I think I told you that already. Tools wear out fast enough already without using up durability for a task that you can punch. Still, that was just one tetrahedrite in that area. Approaching darkness. Alright, knife is gone. And pit kilns are done. We've got molten copper to deal with. It doesn't stay molten forever. It does cool down in the vessel. So I don't want to lose the time with that. Alright. Missing one. accidentally double-clicking it and placing it right again. Not intentionally double-clicking it, just sometimes my computer samples the right mouse button repeatedly too fast while it's down. Alright. Now that you have molten copper in this thing, you need to right-click with it selected, and it opens the slightly different interface. It tells you how many units, and one mold at a time. You can't shift-click the stack up there. These come out brilliant white, liquid. Whoops. I can't do that because it's still an open interface. Alright. Unshaped copper. Now we right click with it selected, we get this interface. We put our saw mold up there and you see the progress bar moving. And when it's done, the saw mold will be over here. Shift clicking moves it over there, which is kind of annoying. If you leave a mold there and then put this up there, it will dump into that mold. So you want to get rid of that. And you don't want to put it here, you want to put it here. And then your tool mold, this is the pickaxe. This is the prospector's pick, or it's called a pro pick for short. Alright, whenever you use these ceramic molds, there's also a chance of breaking for them. Not as high a chance as with the water jugs, but probably 5 to 10% chance of losing it every time you use it. With those tools, we can now do that and then put it on a handle, and we have a saw, and we can do that. Those molds disappear. They break every time. It's a part of the mechanic. It doesn't even give an option to not. So the tool molds are a one-shot deal, which means you're going to be constantly consuming clay as long as you are using molds to make your tools. If you can get to the point where you have a metal anvil, you can use plans and hammer them out from an ingot, in which case you're not constantly using clay. So that's a goal to have eventually. But it's good to have a pickaxe. Yeah! Alright. Nighttime out. This has been probably a long enough recording for this episode, so we'll call it quits and say this is the end of episode 2. Oh, but before that, we have some logs, and we have a saw. So if we do that, move the saw down, do that, get those, and do that, we get that. And let's do it over where we're doing our industry. Pop that up there. We can do it in this inventory space as well. And go like that. And then, whoops. And then we can have some proper storage space. Yeah, I think I'm going to dig that wall out that way. In fact, alright. It's night, but no mobs are showing up right now. Before I start putting stuff in my storage, I'm going to get my ceiling in place. For a wider space. Pull a torch out or two. All right. All right. We'll sign out here, and I'll widen this space, and move that and the chest over one. And we'll pick up again later. Priority, I think, at this next juncture is going to be to get a food supply, and we have options for that. Pretty good options. So anyway, please hit the like button if you liked this. Please hit the dislike button if you didn't, but also comment to tell me why, so that I can try to improve. And subscribe if you're interested in staying up to date with episodes of this. And we'll talk to you later. Bye, YouTube.